All right, it is 7 o'clock. We are calling this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, amen. All right, we will now have roll call.
Chair Kevin Rooney.
Present.
Vice Chair Mario Maciel Jr.
Here.
Commissioner Edwin Borcas. Commissioner Edith Flores.
Present.
Commissioner Christopher Sines.
Christopher Sines called me. He had a family emergency, and I believe Edwin Bojorquez was out of town.
I'll make a motion to excuse both planning commissioners.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 They're excused. All right, next we have public communications. If there's anybody wanting to say anything that's not on today's docket, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and residency, and you can come up to the mic. I guess everybody's here for the ADU then. All right, public communications is now closed. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Do we hear a motion for the consent calendar?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved. Okay, now we move down to the continuation from the ADU.
Honorable Chair, Commissioners, members of the audience, the case before you is a zoning code amendment number AZC 186, an amendment to the city of Baldwin Park Municipal Code, Chapter 153, Sections 153.040.020, 153.120.350, 153.150.100, and 153.220.050 relating to accessory dwelling units. If the Commission may recall, on August 22nd, you heard staff's report and opened the public hearing for zoning code amendments relating to accessory dwelling units, and continued that public hearing to this evening. The City Council also opened public hearing on September 5th, 2018, and continued their public hearing to their meeting on October 3rd, 2018, pending the Planning Commission's recommendation this evening. In order to address the City Council's concerns in regards to traffic and public safety, City staff, as directed by the City Council, changed the draft ordinance by creating ADU disqualifiers and also inventoried streets that may be considered substandard. That's generally the basis of the changes that were done from the time that you last saw it to this point. The ADU disqualifiers would include a lot which fronts a substandard street, a lot located within 300 feet of a school bus stop, and a lot located on a street with permit parking requirements. In order to identify substandard streets, engineering staff drafted a definition for the purposes of the ADU, which was also included in the draft ordinance. The definition reads as follows: substandard street, for the purposes of allowing or disallowing accessory dwelling units, means a public or private street with a width of 30 feet or less measured from the faces of the curbs, thus unable to accommodate street parking and or passage for through traffic and emergency services. Those were generally the changes that were done to the ordinance that you last saw and the new version that you saw this last time. So staff, with these changes, staff is actually of the opinion that the proposed changes address the City Council's concerns. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution PC 18-18 entitled "A Resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park recommending that the City Council approve zoning code amendment number AZC 186, amending Chapter 153 zoning code sections 153.040.020, 153.120.350, 153.150.100, and 153.220.050 of the city's municipal code relating to accessory dwelling units. The location is citywide. The applicant is the City of Baldwin Park, and the case number is AZC 186. And this concludes staff's presentation.
All right, thank you, Abraham. Now we shall open it up to public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this, you have 3 minutes. Please step up to the mic, state your name and residence.
Testing. Good evening, council members. My name is Glenn Garcia. I'm representing some owners on North Main Avenue. There's 2 points in the proposal I wish to have you reconsider. That is the 8,000 square foot requirement on the lot. Talking to the consultant earlier today, she mentioned that that was an average sized lot. Well, the problem with having that requirement is 50% of the community right off the bat is eliminated from having a granny flat. And that's what we want to build. So we feel that's not fair. The city like Santa Cruz has a 4,500 square foot requirement, and the city of Baldwin Park is twice as high as that. We feel we want to be in compliance with the state, and the state is trying to do the right thing for people like us. Socioeconomically, the people with the smaller lots are the ones that are trying to get grandparents together for support with a family that's living there. I have to have family members. We all tie our money in together. We can't afford the care facilities that everybody talks about on TV. We just can't do it. This is the whole idea behind this granny flat. So I hope you reconsider that point. I won't mention it again in the city council. The second point has to do with the 600 square foot. I had to build one of these before for my parents, but I had to use the ADA requirements because of the handicap dimensions around doors, ramps, bedrooms with equipment, lifts, etc. It's not an ordinary 600 square foot house like the consultant said is an average size. We meet all the other requirements for your roads, for your access, for the fire safety, etc., except for the square foot on the lot. So we hope you reconsider both of those in order for us to build not only the 600 plus square foot on the structure, which we have to have a laundry room too. That's one thing that's not included that I've talked to people about in order to deal with the patient's soiled clothing and soiled laundry. That machine is going all the time along with caregiving. So there's 2 reasons. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we ask a question? Yeah. I had a question for you, sir. If you don't mind me asking, what is the square footage on your property? Or
It's 6,700.
6,700.
Right.
Okay.
Even though you do allow the efficiency units, which is under the state definition of 150 square foot, we can't even do that because of the 8,000 square foot requirements. So you've eliminated so many people from getting it. And I've talked to the neighbors, but I didn't get a petition ready. Hopefully by the council meeting, I'll see the people are willing to sign for it. But you just eliminate, and on Main Street, we have the whole road in front. We have all the transit requirements. We basically have everything, but now we can't even do anything. And we have our parents that are living someplace else right now and costing us a fortune. So this is what we're trying to combine everything right there. So that's the question there.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions before he leaves? Edith?
Honorable Planning Commission, just one clarification. I wanted you to make sure that you understood that that the 8,000 square foot requirement is for new construction. So additions and garage conversions, if they are less than 8,000 square feet, they still would be allowed.
They're
So we're-
qualified?
Yeah, those would qualify. Any additions or conversions of existing space, again, with garages or within the main house, those can still be converted to ADUs, or an addition to the main house can still be added to make an ADU. It's just a standalone, brand-new construction is what's being limited. I hope makes sense.
Okay.
Just so happens that the person, may I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just so happens that personal note that my father-in-law smokes a lot. So that's why we want to separate between the house and himself, because we have children in the main house. So that's why we have to go separate. And the city council and you folks support and have passed laws concerning secondhand smoke, so that we want to make sure we don't find another requirement later on down the road, but we're going to have the smoke detectors everywhere as possible. So we're kind of limited. We may be the only family. I'm not sure how many more are out there. But in that generation, their generation, smoking was very common. With my parents, with their parents, with other friends in that generation. So there's a lot of folks meeting the same thing. They try to do the right thing to protect health and safety for their family. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? You can now come up, say your name and residence.
Sorry, it's my first time up here. My name is Manuel Eldave. I live on 4537 Hornbrook Avenue in the city of Baldwin Park. I've lived here pretty much my whole life. I was born and raised in the city of Baldwin Park. I've pretty much lived on every single street because I do come from a low-income family. So we kind of always sometimes lived in the back of a house, in a garage, in apartments, and I still see that going through my family to this day. And by the grace of God, I thank God I had an opportunity to buy my first house this March. And I was super excited because I figured I have a huge lot. And first thing I did was I came here. I think I spoke to Abraham. Was the first time I came. I'm a mailman, by the way, so that's why I thought he would recognize me. And I was excited because the property is so big. The house is a small house, 800 square foot house. It is non-conforming, and that's how I purchased it. Nothing's been touched on the house. But I did come excited because I have a family, I have 3 kids, it's me and my wife, and I was excited because I was like, hey, I heard that we can make a garage into part of the house. But then they told me, yes, but you have to bring your house up to code. And I said, okay, what's that? You know, I have to add like 400 square feet extra, and I still have to build a garage in the back. And I said, well, if I just leave my house the way it is, can I just build an ADU? Because I heard something about an ADU, and I've been doing a lot of research. I'm still not probably as knowledgeable as you guys or the people here, but I've seen the benefits that they have from those ADUs, you know, and leaving the house as it is and still being able to make a back house. I said, well, that's an option. But the problem I guess I was having was I was coming with the mindset that I could probably build a house in the back. And my family right now is gonna, you know, they're looking for places to live right now too. They still are somewhat sadly low income. And I figure, well, I can always build, you know, and rent it out or help them out or even help myself in the future. But the problem is, I guess, if I build a house in the back, I was told that I still have to build a garage to 2-car garage when I just really need the house. I really don't need any parking for my cars, to be honest with you. I prefer to give the shelter to a family member, to a friend or somebody that needs it, other than my car that really doesn't need it, you know. So I just was wondering if you guys could maybe give me some information on that, or maybe if you guys are requiring people to build a 2-car garage if they build a second house in the back, if you guys can maybe consider that. I do have a lot. My driveway goes all the way to the back, so I still have enough parking space in the front of my house, on the side of my house, and in the back, but I really don't see any use of having a 2-car garage, you know, in the back of my house. Or if I convert the garage into an ADU or something like that and extend the house a little more, I'm still required to build a 2nd-car garage in the back, which kind of defeats the purpose, I guess, of me trying to advance, you know, not just myself, but also my family, and when I still have to put more money for something that I feel is not necessary. At least that's the way I see it. I am excited to be back in Baldwin Park because I moved out for a few years, but I recently came back, and I'm excited because I've lived here my whole life, and this is my first time being in front of a speaker, but if God allows, I would like to be more involved with the city and see how I can offer my views. I am young, but...
Time is now up.
Okay, but just thank you so much just to consider the two-car garage for me, that's...
What's your name again?
Manuel Eudave, E-U-D-A-V-E.
Oh, okay.
Can you spell that for me again, please?
E-U, D as in David, A, V as in Victor, E.
Thank you.
Eudave, and Manuel's my first name. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, come up, have 3 minutes, state your name and residence. All right, seeing there's none, I will now close public communication. Oh, yes, yes.
Need to leave it open.
Oh, leave it open, okay. Since the person who wrote the ADU is not here, and we are missing 2 of our planning commissioners, I would like to make a motion to put this off until our next meeting.
I'll second it.
Do you want it for the second Wednesday of the month, or sometimes you have it on that day, or do you want it on the fourth Wednesday?
So either the 10th of October or the 24th of October.
The 24th would be better. My son's birthday's on the 10th, so I'll be absent.
So you'd have to make a motion to continue it to date specific, so that would...
All right.
Mr. Chair, can I have just one more possible clarification with respect to the previously second dwelling unit ordinance that did require the parking replacement? Yes. With the new ADU ordinance and with this following the state guidelines, if you're within half a mile of a public transit stop, we're not required to replace the parking. There's no parking required with this new ordinance. So that situation that the second gentleman came up with having to replace the parking, that requirement would go away.
He won't need it.
He won't need it. So now you can...
Because basically every house in Baldwin Park is within a half mile of public transportation.
Right.
Sorry, I just came last week, and I was told that I built the two-car garage. I've came multiple times since March to now, just checking, and they keep telling me you guys are working things out, so outcome. But I was told last week when I still do. Prior to that, and then I was told that I couldn't even build any, and call it an AD.
Yeah.
I've been getting, I guess, different.
They're probably just waiting till they pass all the code enforcements that they want to put in. But along with my recommendation to postpone, I would like to see if I might be able to make a recommendation to widen the 600 feet, since the state allows 1,200 feet for a separate dwelling.
Do you have a specific recommendation as to how big?
At least 900 feet.
I think our current ordinance says 1,000, no?
Our current is 1,000 maximum.
Oh, so they can...
No, our current secondary dwelling unit that the gentleman was referring to
So
is
then I would like to leave it at 1,000. There's
1,000?
There's no real need to change it, I don't think. That would be my recommendation. So I made the motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor to postpone until next month? Continue
October.
Aye.
till October
24th.
24th. Everybody says aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. And with that, I believe We will now adjourn. Thank you guys very much.
There was no officers' report.
Huh? There's no officers report at this time?
Just for the record, Abraham Tellez's last day is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
And we will miss you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Mr. Tejas, working with you.
Thank you.
I wish you the best and your new on divorce.
Awesome.
Congratulations, farewell.
Thank you very much.
Many
It
blessings.
was a pleasure working with you guys too.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to miss your hats. All right. There's no officers report, correct? All right. Then this meeting is adjourned.